listening to Sports Radio Detroit.
Hello, all you boys and ghouls out in the world, and welcome to, yet another episode of your favorite horror podcast on the air, Grave Discussion. Thanks for that assist. That was my good friend and co-host, Samael.
How y'all doing tonight? And that right there that just spoke to y'all is one of my best friends and co-host, Barnabas.
Yeah, I don't know why we're talking like some chicken raisin hillbillies, but that's what we are apparently. So
well, I'm in a good mood today, Barnabas. How about you?
I'm in a good mood as well, and it's because we're gonna be talking about damn monster movies. So I had a completely
for us, kill it.
we were talking about Tremors, huh? All right, here we go. No, I'm just kidding, but that is probably something we're gonna talk about today.
Oh yeah.
Today's episode is all about monster movies in horror cinema and culture.
We've been alluding to this.
Yeah.
I've been trying to hint a little bit here and there that we were going to touch on this. We touched on the rise and decline of the slasher genre, and now we're just going to be talking about monsters in general.
Yeah. So I love monster movies.
Yes, bro.
Ranging from your standard like creature features to aliens, I guess you could, more sci-fi, but you could classify them as monsters. Werewolves, vampires, giant monster, like kaiju type films. I love it all, pretty much.
Oh yeah, the whole spectrum, bro.
Yeah, everything. And we're going to be talking about all that today. We're going to have a deep conversation. We're going to cover, the kinds of monster films that are out there. We're going to talk about themes, character types, messages, all that kind of stuff, effects, everything.
And also the really sucky monster movies too, and what made them suck. Because we're pretty much nihilistic, so we got to talk about a lot of negative stuff,
Yeah, but I mean, it's good to have that contrast of good and bad.
Yes,
so,
we need it. We need both.
But we're gonna pretty much talk about everything. We want to expose you guys to monster films if you're not super familiar with them. Give you some recommendations, of course. Just kind of talk about why they exist, their presence within horror, as a form of art and media. So we're going to get into all that. But first, we've got all of the horrific horror news that is circulating around the web.
It's kind of a toss-up. I'm not that excited about all this news that I heard,
Yeah, I feel you. The first thing, which we are a little sad and perhaps angry about, is the reintroduction once again for like basically the 9th fucking year in a row, Saw.
Oh my god. So like the Jigsaw writers who wrote the recent movie Jigsaw, obviously Jigsaw writers is what I meant by that. They're working on a new Saw. And as I say, shark jumping fuckery. I'm going to say that at least once a week. We have to talk about shark jumping every week because we have to address the movies that are the problem at hand with this issue. I don't know, man. It just seems like everything's been just going off the rails. So like it's scheduled for release date January 16th.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, no directors so far. Who'd want to touch that at this point? I don't know.
Yeah.
Pete Goldfinger and Josh Stolberg. They're currently developing it for Twisted Pictures. So
yeah,
under Twisted Pictures. I don't know. Will it be good? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't think... Is there even a plot synopsis or anything yet?
No.
Where they just like, let's make another Saw, but have absolutely no idea who's going to fucking make it or what it's going to be about. Well, hold on, Jeff, okay? There's going to be some people and there's going to be some traps. And that's it.
I swear, that's what like the Fast 9 movies are. Well, how about the plot for this one? All right. There's another guy who's one of the bad guys.
Yeah.
And you didn't know about him because we didn't even know about him until last movie, but we're gonna pretend he was here before all these other people because we're gonna put the first story in like the third movie to explain who this new guy is. And that's
there's some convoluted writing, like in that whole series, but I will give it some credit.
It's like a fucking crackhead roadie, They're just like running with every idea. How about it's a guy? It's a guy. All right, the next killer's gonna be a guy. All right, what's the guy's gonna do? He's the guy from a long time ago, but we never explained that. But we're gonna explain it in this movie. That way they know where he's coming from. And it's like, no, stop, please.
No, look,
please.
I'll give it some credit. Okay, I think that there are certain aspects to the Saw franchise that definitely stand out and are positive. It's got an excellent villain. I think Jigsaw as a villain character at this point is pretty well cemented among all the other classic popular horror villains within horror cinema. There's that, sometimes I am like, okay, I like how this is piecing together and connecting, and there's this like grand mystery behind all of it. But then it just keeps leading into the next movie and the next one and the one after that. And I just wonder, like, when are we going to find everything out? When's everything going to stop? Saw 22? Like, this is going to be the 9th one.
Look, to me, Jigsaw, I liked it. You could have ended it there.
Yeah.
And just end it there, man. Just let stuff die. That's how it becomes legendary.
Yeah. I agree. And I think that Saw 3D, which was the 7th one right before Jigsaw, which was billed as the last movie in the entire series, I think it ended perfectly. It basically came full circle with the first film, and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, but I would say do so if you've seen like the other 6 and you have enjoyed them. But I think it ended perfectly, and I think that they absolutely could have left it there. Nothing else said, just Saw 3D, that twist ending, boom, done, and that's it.
You know what they're doing? They're pulling a Friday the 13th. Hey, we're going to call this movie the final chapter, even though there's like 18 other movies after this one.
Too,
have you noticed that?
Yeah. I mean, whatever, but that movie did it as its 4th film. Friday the 13th, part 4. All right, that's it. We're done.
Yeah.
This one's like, nah, okay, Saw 7, the final chapter. I mean, here's 7 more movies.
Jason was kind of shark jumping too after part 4.
I'm not going to deny
part
that.
5, it's Jason, he's back. Oh no, it's not Jason.
But it still gave us some of the best films in the franchise, though.
It did. Part 6, it was really like cliche how he came back.
I loved it,
lightning hit a rod and Jason's back.
I loved it.
God wants him back? What?
Because then we got supernatural Satan. No, it's Thor.
Yeah, right.
Chris Hemsworth was like, you know what? I think I like that Jason guy.
That's what he gets. That's why when Thor went to the cabin in the woods, he got fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your karma for bringing Jason back, Thor.
He was in that movie, yeah. But I don't know, man. I think that it should be over at part 7. That's it.
I bet some of those people are like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? Like, when we're like getting into like the comparisons.
Yeah.
But if you watch these movies, you know exactly what we're talking about.
So, I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about it. I think it should have been over. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. That doesn't change my mind though on the fact that it should be over.
They say you shouldn't beat a dead horse. Well, you shouldn't try to keep riding one either.
Yeah. Eventually, you're gonna ride it to the point that it dies.
Like a wheelbarrow down Mount Everest. You're just gonna go down.
Jesus Christ, forever. Like, how many thousands of feet is that mountain? Anyway, you know what we mean. So that's Jigsaw.
Plummeting.
Yeah.
Plummeting. I'm calling it. It's plummeting.
And so we're going to move on. This one I'm going to talk about for 5 whole seconds, and then that's it, okay? Because it's a Serbian film, which if you know about that film or have seen it, bless your heart. Yeah, but you're like, man,
you're here and you're not crazy. You maybe are after seeing that disgusting.
Probably. All I'll say is that if you have not seen a Serbian film, it's a Serbian film, and it's called a Serbian film, and it's really fucked up. And there's some really like not at all appropriate, disgusting, unnecessary, inhuman parts in that movie. And I don't think you should see it. I don't think it should exist in the first place, but there was an article posted on April 1st of all days that there's going to be an American remake, apparently done by the same dudes who are doing the Halloween reboot this year. So is it an April Fool's joke or is it real news?
I hope it's an April Fool's joke.
I hope so too. Because
I'm not gonna lie, I've heard about Serbian film and I read the synopsis, and guess what? I decided to never watch it.
Oh, so you have never seen it?
No, I've seen I looked up what it was about. Like I had to read
I watched the whole fucking movie, bro.
Well,
after I watched it, I was like, damn, you know what sounds like a good idea today? Finding a nice big cliff and just fucking jumping off of it.
Sometimes movies make
with
you
like
feel
no
like that,
clothes.
bro. That's how you know a movie was successful, when it makes you feel like that.
I mean,
that's why I don't want to.
I'm not gonna deny that.
I'm not trying to learn about some disturbing shit.
All right. Anyway, 5 seconds has passed. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Goodbye.
I hope it's a joke. If you guys know, let us know. I don't care. But I just thought I'd throw it out there just in case it is real news. Fuck you guys. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, moving on. I want to talk about Pontypool because I love that movie, first of all, and I don't think that you've seen it, Sam, but you owe it to yourself to see it because it's really fucking good. And it's a new take on the zombie movie. And this movie is back from like 2008, so it wasn't like new, but you know, for its time, it was definitely a fresh idea for the zombie movie. So essentially, it's about this crew at a radio station in this like dinky little town, like super quiet, barely populated town. It pretty much all takes place in the radio station, and there's it's just like this weird night, and the host of the radio station and his crew, I think it's just like one other person, they start kind of experiencing this like weird frequency or like this weird sound on the radio, and they keep getting like calls in from people around the town like talking about this like weird stuff that's happening and about their interactions with people that kind of have like zombie-like symptoms, if you're familiar with how zombies work. so it's all just it's all just on the phone. I didn't mean to be that condescending there, but I realized that I was.
I was like, Jesus Christ, he's like insulting the shit out of everyone listening right now. You fucking dick, bro.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
You're good, bro.
But there's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of people that really don't know. You know.
Bro, you make me need a cigarette, bro. I swear. I dropped everything on the floor. This guy's fucking me up, bro. This guy's the fucking devil.
Yes.
Fucking.
Don't tell anyone.
You suck. I get it. Barnabas.
No,
suck.
I get it.
Yeah, you get it now.
You suck.
See, I was condescending, but you really didn't get it, so I won. That's 1-1. I got you.
I guess. All right, but for real, Pontypool is great, and there's apparently going to be like a spin-off / sequel. The article that I saw in Bloody Disgusting about it made it seem like it's going to be 2 separate movies, which honestly, in a weird way, it seems like that, because if you've seen Pontypool, you know that the ending is like kind of weird. But the new movie is supposed to star like pretty much the same dude from Pontypool. It's also going to star Juliette Lewis, who I'm a big fan of, and Henry Rollins. But the plot synopsis doesn't make it seem like directly tied into the plot of the first Pontypool. It's like this weird like I forget what it said he was, like some kind of like a drifter or like something
miscreant, like.
Yeah, like just in this town there's like a vampire and then something else. So it doesn't quite sound the same, so it might just be kind of a spin-off in the same universe or something, kind of like what Cloverfield is doing. I don't know, but I'm excited about that. And I didn't know if there was a release date for that, but I think I
have to see the first one now.
You have to. It's really good. I mean, maybe we could watch that tonight. But
like you said, I wouldn't have known about. I wouldn't have known about it. I mean, especially in like 2008, it was on Reddit. You know, I was on one of those kids. I was on the computer, but you know, I was on like MySpace and shit. So
yeah, no, I feel you. But
I didn't know about.
I really liked it. I mean, I didn't watch Pontypool for the first time until like a couple years ago, so it's not like I discovered it back then. But somehow I just discovered it. After so many years, you know, if you're still like a pretty low-key movie, eventually somebody's just going to go up on Reddit and like, yo, this movie was sick. And then it gets like a lot more views than it's ever had. And like people buy the DVD or Blu-ray and shit. So anyway, I'm really excited about that. This next one you actually found out about, and you're really excited about it. So
yes, bro. All right, so Party Hard, Die Young is the movie we will be discussing. This was on a horror news site called Bloody Disgusting. So it's It's a new Austrian slasher from director Dominik Hartl from Attack of the Lederhosen Zombies. I don't know if you've heard of that, guys, but he directed Attack of the Lederhosen Zombies. All right. That's my like radio celebrity voice. Like, well, today on Grave Discussion,
You just talk like that
I'm just
the
like
whole
super
time.
pretentious.
Yeah.
Start eating pears and shit.
Oh,
And like, wow. So, an official selection of the 36th International Fantastic Film Festival, aka BIFF, Bloody Disgusting has the new trailer and first stills from Party Hard Die Young, which is an Austrian slasher film directed by Dominik Hartl. So here's the description. Finally, graduation. No more high school. In order to celebrate, Julia, her classmates, and thousands of fellow graduates are on their way to an island resort in Croatia. It's supposed to be the party of their lives. The harmless fun, however, soon turns dead serious. When a friend is killed in a tragic accident, the party people's euphoria is crushed. No shit! Moreover, Julia's best friend Jessica has been missing, and she is the only one who believes in a connection between the two incidents. For what reason, they don't tell us. That's good. Let us see it. Unfortunately, soon after, her suspicion is confirmed when Jessica's lifeless body is washed up on the shore. Of course. Now the trip is about sheer survival as Julia realizes that she's probably the next victim. Could it all be connected to a long-buried incident from the clique's past? I'm super excited about this. It's it's your typical fucking slasher. It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Not typical, because nowadays typical means shitty. So it's your like it has that classic feel. Look, kids are about to be done with high school. They're about to be chilling. They're about to be enjoying their fucking lives. And then people just start dying. Like, they're, like, getting ready for something, and it's just a bunch of teenagers, and they're going to go do something, and then they start dying. What's happening, you'll find out by the end of the movie, and that's how they should be.
I like that because, you know, it sounds kind of simple, like how these kinds of movies I feel should be, but at the same time, it's a little complex.
They're Austrian.
Right.
So it's a foreign film.
Austrian.
So you got to be ready for anything.
Foreign films are great because they don't hold back. You know, they'll like do whatever comes to mind. They'll make new conventions.
That's why I'm kind of
techniques.
I'm not gonna lie. That's why I don't watch foreign films because I'm kind of scared. I don't like reading the synopsis before I watch it usually.
Yeah, you don't
unless I hear something about it. But like I know as soon as I start watching a foreign film, it's either gonna be about like cannibals or like something like really like
crazy. Yeah.
So really crazy. Some shit. I'm not trying to think about that. Like when I'm just chilling at home.
I mean, they're great movies though.
They are good movies. They're effective. That's horror. When people are actually like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like, you're not worried if the thing's around the corner. You're worried about a situation in real life that can happen. You know, you're just freaking the fuck out. Like, fuck, what if this happens, man? Fuck, I can't swim in the river anymore. That. Like,
I wouldn't. You know, it kind of sounds like it's up in the air as to like what is actually happening. It could be a supernatural thing. It could just be like a slasher. I don't know, man. It sounds dope though.
I hope it's like super like old school slasher. Like it has all the potential given that description. The trailer's online. I still haven't seen that. I'll probably look at it a little later, or we could go over it next week or whatever. Like
whenever.
But like I don't know, man. I'm excited about this because it just seems like something like that's gonna. I mean, if it gets big here, I mean, it is Austrian, but you know, a lot of foreign films now get a lot of attention from Netflix.
Oh yeah.
So let's say this comes out.
A lot more horror fans are like fans of foreign movies now. You know.
Yeah, because they know like, that you need to watch something foreign if you want it to be like super like psychologically fuck you up. For, like you're gonna have psychosis for 2 weeks after watching this movie. You know, like I like those.
Yeah. So that's what is that movie called? Party Hard, Die Young.
Good title too.
Yeah.
Seems 80s as shit.
It does.
It's like I don't know. It's just so cliche, you know. Like it's cheesy, man. It works.
Yeah, I hope it's really good.
Like Cutting Class or like you know something like that. It's fucking awesome, bro.
I agree.
We need more shit like that. Goofy ass movie titles, like I don't know what happened to like movie titles with like sibilants. Like all the letters start with
or just even just stuff like Slaughter High. Like that was cool. You know?
Yeah, Slaughter High was dope.
So I don't know, man. That sounds sweet though. I believe it's supposed to be coming out at some point this year, so just stay tuned to that. At this point, though, we are going to move on to the terrifying trailer of the week. Spoiler alert, we've actually already seen this trailer, and we love it, but we're going to discuss it for you guys. Check it out. It's called The Barge People. That's BARGE People. And you can just check it out on YouTube or wherever. I don't know, man. This looks really fucking good. Let's just get right into it. As always,
only 13,000 views. I bet this thing's gonna come out the blue and just start like grabbing attention.
I hope so. Probably not like A Quiet Place or whatever, but Man, I hope it does. I hope it's up on Reddit. You can just kind of search for like horror trailers or news or whatever. That's how we found it. I had no idea about this movie before we discovered this trailer, and we just saw the thumbnail and it looked sick.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh man,
like,
yeah.
And it said 2018, so I was like, yo.
Oh yeah.
And this trailer came out January, so it's probably gonna be, I would say, by the summertime or the fall time.
I hope so.
It'll be nice in the fall time.
Yeah.
I just don't want to wait that long.
Me neither. But we've got a lot of good movies coming up to kind of satisfy us in the meantime.
A lot, bro.
But here, we're gonna check out the trailer for The Barge People. As always, we're just gonna be having the audio here, but we are watching the video as well. Feel free to open up the video and watch along with us if you want to keep up. So here we go.
So here we are, on a barge for one crazy weekend of fun and laughter.
Oh, I missed you.
Oh, I love being out here. Makes me feel so alive. Steered one of these beauties before, have you? Yeah. Well, any trouble, give me a call. Trouble. It's going to be a great weekend. I can feel it. I'd get in your barge and go back the way you came if I was you.
Here it is. Here it is.
Oh man.
Yo.
Like, what were they doing? That one guy's just on a couch and they're just hiding behind a thing, and they just see this guy eating their friend. Like,
I don't know. I think she might be like injured or sick or something. I don't know, but yeah, we already see the monster, which I love. You can tell that it's going to be maybe just like 20 minutes or something of exposition, some backstory, whatever, like yada yada, lead up, and there's just going to be like full throttle, balls to the walls action with all this like crazy shit happening.
Cannibal monster slasher. That's what this is.
Pretty much. That's what it looks like.
From the makers of Cannibal Farm, we bring you cannibals.
This thing looks wild.
The barge people.
You know what this creature actually reminds me of is that like nurse chick from the Twilight Zone, I think, that had like the same kind of like weird face. I don't know. That's what that reminds me of. It looks great though. Like you can tell it's all practical effects.
That's what I like.
And it's all bloody and shit.
This looks like a humanoid creature,
yeah,
bro. Like,
it looks gross.
It looks like a lab experiment all fucked up.
Maybe that's what it is.
On fire.
Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe it's
doing some weird shit over in the UK.
All right, knows what they're doing there.
Yeah, just making tea and making fucking mutants. I don't know. So let's continue on. We got about a minute left. So
Escape from Cannibal Farm. You really can't even tell what the fuck's going on, who's who.
Yeah, not really.
It's just fucking death and chase scenes. I hope it's like high paced.
It looks like it's gonna be. It looks like there's like no end to the action.
I hate that shit where it's like, yo, how about this? All right, what kind of fucking writer? Hey, how about this? All right, so an hour of the movie, it's gonna be all suspense, and then the last 11 minutes of the movie, 7 glimpses of the villain before he dies and/or kills everyone. That sound good to you guys? That sound good? Ready to go? Like, what the fuck, man?
Push it, Bill. Like, no, don't push it.
Yeah, don't fucking just chill, bro.
But this looks like it's gonna be like nonstop action. I love all the practical effects work. The dude like gets his arm chopped off or whatever. They just like are eating people's faces. I don't know. The whole time watching this, it makes me think of Hatchet, honestly. Even though he's not like a cannibal or whatever, but the special effects kind of look the same. The setting kind of is similar. It's just cool.
It's cool because like he wasn't just a cannibal. Like they had machetes, axes, all that shit, whips. Like it's like Jason meets cannibal. Like Jason meets any cannibal.
Yeah.
Like, because they're just murdering and eating people, bro. Like
yeah, it looks nuts. And there's obviously multiple of these creatures as well. So I wonder, what their origin is, and I wonder if some of them are gonna like get killed off, or if they're just going to be like these unstoppable beasts. It looks like they have some kind of intelligence though, so I'm just excited to see how they approach these creatures, since there's like a bunch of them, and I hope that we get some cool kills of like the creatures as well.
Yeah, man.
But it looks like the kills are good so far. The story is structured but not too simplistic. So yeah, I'm excited about this one. We got about 30 seconds left, so let's wrap it up and then we'll give our final thoughts. Yeah, it does look like some of the creatures might get killed off, so I'm pretty stoked for that.
They kind of hinted that this is gonna be one of those no hope movies.
Yeah, but not really. I mean, we do see the main characters kind of getting in there on some of them.
And then
so
one of
we'll
them
see.
got his arm chopped off and his head popped off like a champagne cork.
That's true.
That's fucked up, bro. Like,
So they could be like really strong.
I think just main character. I don't think that means anything anymore. It's like just the person that the shit's gonna happen to. It's like the tragic hero. Like, why don't make every fucking shit fucking
Honestly,
tragic, man? What the fuck?
Yeah, it has been a while, honestly, since I've watched a horror film where I like really liked or felt connected to the main character. The only thing right now that I feel that way for is Ash vs. Evil Dead, and that's like a TV show. It's not even like a horror movie.
I don't know. We have no one standing up to like villains, or they're just getting killed now. That is just like, I don't know. Maybe it's symbolic for our species is getting weaker. I don't know.
I don't know, man. But yeah, there's just not that many interesting characters. Like, they're all just these like generic dudes or girls, and I mean, there are probably some that I just can't like think of right now that have like really interesting, like well thought out, potentially, you know, popular like characters, but there's nothing that really comes to mind. This kind of looks like it might be the same thing, but I don't know. It at least looks like a good horror movie. So
yeah, it doesn't look like it's just. It doesn't look like there's too much suspense. It just looks like it's like all action.
Like, oh fuck, there's another one of the barge people.
Oh
Like,
fuck, he got a fucking lawnmower, bro.
Yeah.
This one's over here with an axe. All right, who we gonna push into them? Who dies first,
Yeah.
bro? Like,
so that one, it looks good to me. It's supposed to come out sometime this year. It's been released, I think, in the UK. If not at the theaters, and I think maybe just in the independent circuit at some festivals and stuff, but we'll see. I'll keep up with it for sure, see if there's a release date at any point, like here for the US. But if you didn't get a chance to check out that trailer, look it up right now. The Barge People, it looks sick. I'm stoked for it. So
yeah, man, I can't wait for that. It looks like it's gonna be a deeply disturbing movie. Finally, something with some like distressing content.
right, yeah. I agree. Speaking of which,
oh yeah,
this is
number one distressing content.
This man. Oh, it's hard for me to even like talk about this because I'm like,
yeah.
But we're gonna
fucked.
We're gonna discuss a super exciting movie for both of us that ties really well into this whole monster theme that we've got going on this episode.
Yep, and this is our Cult Corner.
Yes. Welcome to the Cult Corner.
Yes.
So this week's Cult Corner is going to feature, for us, a classic horror movie, a classic horror
should be for
monster
everyone.
movie.
For everyone, it's everyone's favorite classic monster movie.
Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead. Keep away from Pumpkinhead unless you're tired of living. His enemies are mostly dead. He's mean and unforgiving.
That's why I was using the southern accent.
Yeah.
Fuck, I was like, because I was thinking about Pumpkinhead. I was just pumped for this shit.
I love Pumpkinhead. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just such a fucking good movie. And I think out of all the like creatures / monsters, whatever that exist,
This thing scares the shit out of me.
Pumpkinhead's gotta be the scariest motherfucker to ever like exist in anybody's mind.
Bro.
Whoever thought of Pumpkinhead, bro, I love you, but you should go see a doctor. Like,
Bro, he's like 14'22" and he can jump a skyscraper. All right, there's this part of this movie. We're gonna talk about it later, but I just wanted to talk about this right now, right at the beginning. This part of the movie where Pumpkinhead like jumps into a tree. Like I'm not talking like tree in front of your house. Talk about like tree in the woods, like those giant trees. He jumps to the top and drops a girl from the top of the tree, a girl who didn't even do anything wrong.
If I saw him even just jump up into that tree, bro, I would grab the nearest rock and just bash my brains in.
I'll
Fuck a quick death. No, I'll make this as painful as possible as long as I don't have to get jumped on by this fucking xenomorph.
Yeah, it looks like
creepy ass looking motherfucker with like human skin on him. Hell no.
he's like 14 foot 22. Like, why?
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's so disturbing. Just his appearance and
He has
like
no
oh my
pupils.
god.
He has no pupils. His head is like 3 feet long from back to front. Like I said, he's like 14 feet tall.
Bro, he looks
He has like the skinniest body ever. Long ass like arms. He looks like a dinosaur. And like his hands, each finger. Basically, he wrapped his whole hand around a girl's head, and his fingers were still hanging off.
Yeah.
Like you could still see him hanging off, which means her head wasn't big enough to fit in his hand. Like
he looks like a rabid dog fucked a werewolf
yeah.
that fucked a giraffe. Like I don't know how else to explain it.
I don't
He
know,
just
bro.
looks crazy as hell.
I used to
like-
have these
oh my God.
nightmares when I was a kid that like I was hiding in my basement from Pumpkinhead,
Yeah.
and then I would see my basement door open, and he would just walk down the stairs and walk toward me. By the time he came right next to me, I would wake up like,
Damn, that sounds terrifying.
yeah, bro. Every single night I fucking dream that, bro.
Yo, how are you still sane right now?
I am not.
That explains it.
So this fucking gem came out in 1988, and it starred Lance Henriksen, Jeff East, John D. Aguino. So those are the main people.
Yeah.
So here's the basic story. There's this kid, right? Now he's watching one of his neighbors get pulled apart by this demon thing, right? And his dad's saying, "Leave it alone. It ain't got business with us." And you're like, "All right, what the fuck are they talking about?" Later on, this kid grows up, right? Now he's this grown man. Ed Harley. His name is Ed Harley.
Yep.
So Ed Harley's son gets run over by some like asshole kids, you know, not kids, but you know, they're around like in
Yeah,
their
they're
20s.
like teenagers, yeah.
They're
Still pretty much like
Yeah.
young adults.
So they run over a little kid, and his dad remembered Pumpkinhead, seeing him when he was a kid, and he knew it was like if people did you wrong, you could go to that witch.
It's kind of like a legend.
Yeah.
Where they are though.
It's the local legend
Yeah.
where they live at. So Ed Harley. So I'm just giving you guys a synopsis real quick. So Ed Harley takes his son's body. He goes to the locals that go to his store because he owns a grocery store. That's where his son got killed because this guy was drunk and the kid ran after his dog and he got hit by a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So Ed Harley's asking these, southern town folk where he could find this witch. And this is one of my favorite lines from the movie. Like the older like grandpa was like, "She can't help you. All she could do is send you straight to hell." Like, and then,
Yeah,
I love that shit. And then he's going up to see that witch, and he sees her. Bro, this creeped me. Look at that. Look at her. We got a
Yeah.
picture right here. I remember
The witch lady is also just scary as fuck
Haggis. Haggis was her name. I remember when he walked into her cabin. She's like,
Nothing I can do for you.
Did you hear that impression?
Yeah, that was good.
Ed Harley.
Yeah, bro,
Right?
You sound
That's
just
on
like
point.
her.
Yeah, she was fucking terrifying, bro. That alone.
I'm a
used to
little
give me
concerned
nightmares.
about my friendship with you now, Samael.
But like, I don't know, man. It was just like, it was creepy, and then like, really creepy because then she tells him, all right, go dig up this body and bring it back to me. So
Yeah.
he brings a body. She cuts his hand, whatever, drips it on the body, and then this giant monster demon alien looking thing spawns straight out of hell. It's a revenge demon.
Yeah.
Ed Harley wakes up. She's like,
You can go now, Ed Harley.
so kids start getting killed off, and the kids that weren't even responsible for it too. So the guy that was responsible
Yeah.
for it, he was one of the last ones.
Wasn't it like anybody who just like stands in the way even is
Yeah,
supposed to
and they
die?
were hanging out with him, so
Yeah.
but they were there, so
yeah.
I had to go after them. So Pumpkinhead's going after them, and every time Pumpkinhead killed someone, Ed Harley felt pain. And he realized what was going on. He went back to the witch. He's like, I see now. This is wrong. This is wrong.
Yeah, he starts to regret what
Yeah,
he
he
did.
starts to regret it,
because
so
he can feel everything.
There's that inner struggle along with the outer struggle of, I don't know, you just summon the fucking demon to hunt down people. So, anyways,
Yeah.
moral of the story, don't summon demons. So, he starts to have this inner struggle, like, what do? I have to kill myself. And he's like, then I die. He's having this, like, whole debate within himself. And then, kids are getting killed off one by one. There's some that are surviving. The hillbilly kid that showed Ed Harley where to find the witch, he comes and tries to help these people that he helped, I guess, to redeem himself
Yeah.
or whatever. So he's helping them out. And then Ed Harley shows up. So Pumpkinhead killed the dude that ran over his son. And then right before that, Ed Harley shot Pumpkinhead. When he shot Pumpkinhead, like, he didn't feel pain. But then he got bit by a dog, and we saw that Ed Harley was the one that was feeling... Him and Pumpkinhead were both feeling pain if he gets attacked. So
yeah, it's just interesting. Like,
and by the end of it, Ed Harley had to get shot in the head.
Yeah. Then there's a bunch of sequels too. I don't know, man. I just love this movie because, you know, when you really think about it,
Creepy as shit.
it's creepy as shit. It's so well done. Pumpkinhead's done with like all practical effects.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Pumpkinhead isn't CGI.
You don't
bro.
need any fucking CGI to make that. I think was way scarier because it was all practical effects. Like, you know, somebody actually made that shit, and there's like some dude in there operating that costume. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
that's crazy. So I love all of that, and I love actually how well it highlights the struggle of like man versus monster, or like man as monster almost, because Pumpkinhead being
the manifestation of Ed Harley's rage
exactly.
and revenge. Yeah,
he kind of feels exactly what his Pumpkinhead's victims feel
towards the people. Yeah,
you know, he's like, man,
he's like an empathetic, wrathful demon.
Yeah, but you know, he's like, I need revenge for my son. But at the same time, now that he can kind of understand what these people are going through that are getting just slaughtered by this huge fucking monster.
That was ridiculous, bro.
I swear to God.
I wouldn't expect that. Imagine like some shit just happens, right? You're in the South. You're not home. We're from the city, you know? You go down there, one of your friends accidentally runs someone over, you're like, oh my God, you're chilling out in a cabin, you're like, what are we gonna do? Yeah. And then this fucking monster just starts, you're like, yo, is that the guy? Is that the guy we just, or is this just, is this karma, bro? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good segue to just go into our main segment of monster movies as well. But we highly recommend Pumpkinhead.
Bro, the cinematography is great.
The cinematography, the atmosphere,
the score is the scariest thing. Especially in like score plus atmosphere is like this whole movie. Yeah. And on top of it, the monster is also terrifying, but like the shots you see of Pumpkinhead, there'll be the shot that's panning from like right to left, and then you'll just see him walk by the house as the camera's still panning to the left, but he's off to the right, you know, so you don't see him anymore. And like just those little shots of him creeping in the distance, and you're like, yo, what the fuck is that? And then when you see him finally like up close, he's just like dragging people out the kitchen from like the side. I like that one shot they did. It was like a front view, let's say, a front view shot of the kitchen, and the back door is like right in the kitchen, and then you see Pumpkinhead's arm just like dragging someone out the back door, but like just from that shot, like you just see his hand come and just drag.
I love how they just present like Pumpkinhead entering a room, and like it's usually up from like the bottom, and it just shows him, so he's even more like imposing and menacing.
Yeah, those low angle shots are like great because you're just like you just feel so tiny compared.
There's this like crazy sound whenever he enters too.
That and it's like I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's hard to like impersonate, but
and then that music goes off to like it's just fucking weird.
It's just really good. It's scary. The messages are great. It has all these themes about like revenge and man versus monster and like man as monster almost. It's just really fucking good.
Yeah, it is.
And it's just a perfect lead up into our discussion about monster movies. Monster movies are so iconic, I think, for that very reason, because I feel like a huge theme in monster movies is this whole like conflict of man, human element with a conscience, empathy, feelings, emotions, dialogue, all this stuff, versus something that is like so obviously inhuman and something that is unknown and like strange and just like difficult to even grasp like the concept of.
It just plays on our primitive fears of bigger animals that different monsters and these like I don't know, like it just triggers a fight or flight when you're just watching a movie like that with these giant things, and you never really find yourself rooting for the monsters in these movies. So.
Yeah, hardly ever. I mean, you might appreciate the monster, but you don't want to root for it because it's just so like opposed to what you are as a human being.
Like we are not Neanderthals like right now. You know what I'm saying? Like we have like we're far from those primitive thoughts, and that's why we fear those primitive thoughts. Like,
Yeah.
I think all these movies show like,
Hey, Neanderthals were like killing fucking woolly mammoths and shit for, you know.
yeah, they were. But still, like, they still got that. They only killed them because like they would get that adrenaline rush. Adrenaline rush plus Neanderthal strength equals win.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
we've always been afraid of everything. And that's another thing too, just unnatural.
Yeah.
They're unnatural. Like, they're not based on any kind of like science or anything.
I mean, imagine if you saw half goat, half donkey with like red eyes coming at you. You'd be like, okay, this is not at all something I've ever seen before.
But especially if it's something crazy like Godzilla or the Cloverfield monster.
What would
or
you
something.
do? Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
what would you do?
I would be scared as fuck.
Imagine the Godzilla. Okay, where's the fucking military? What am I supposed to do? Maybe the dudes with the assault rifles, but you know, there's so much you could do to Godzilla
against like a slasher or something. You could do something. You could kill him,
but not these.
bro.
Not
no.
Godzilla. Or,
You're not gonna stab.
You're gonna shoot Mothra. You're gonna shoot Mothra.
Right. You're not gonna stab fucking Ghidorah or whatever it's called, or Gamera with like a kitchen knife, and they're just gonna go down. They're not even gonna feel it, and they're just gonna walk on you, and you're gonna be dead. So yeah, I love all the giant monster movies. I love everything that's coming out now, and we can really kind of classify a lot of films as monster movies. Like, I think it's cool because it's really diverse. Like, there's a lot of types of horror films that you could fit into monster movies, and it's just this like one super encompassing category. Like vampire movies, werewolf movies, giant monster movies, like regular creature features, like mummy movie, you know, all this kind of stuff, like I think fits into monsters.
It's like a huge like spectrum.
Yeah.
From Godzilla to, let's say that to Hills Have Eyes, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the spectrum.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I would agree. Because those are like mutants. Like, see, that's kind of what I want to discuss too, is like there are lots of monsters that are more human than the rest. And those are typically the monsters that we don't quite fear as much, because at least we sort of have an understanding.
And you can win because they're not giants.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like Troll Hunter. Those things.
That was so good. That was so good. I didn't know what to fucking expect when I started watching that movie.
That movie was so different, just shot mockumentary style, but everything about it is so good.
It makes you think, you know?
Yeah, it does. Like, what kind of hidden pockets in this world are things that we know nothing about living in?
Yeah.
You know, like...
Let's say I went to like Scandinavia and I dug into the earth. I wouldn't be surprised if I seen some monsters. I'd just be like, it's probably what's in there.
Right.
Like, rock monsters and shit.
Or like in this like... And plus, we don't know what's in the ocean, bro. Cthulhu is probably living down there just plotting, you know?
No, he's not plotting. He's chilling, bro. That's my cousin.
Say what's up for me. Yeah.
Shout out Cthulhu.
tell him I said hey to all the anglerfish down there and shit. But no, for real.
He doesn't hang with anglerfish.
Oh, he's too good for them, huh? But yeah, man, that's what we're talking about. From all the way back to like the first like real monster movies, including like Nosferatu.
Was that the first? I think that was...
I mean, honestly, that was like 1922, bro.
Yeah,
that was probably like the first real horror movie. Well, not the first real horror movie, but definitely the first real like monster movie for sure.
When did Frankenstein's monster come out?
Like the Universal Monsters Frankenstein?
Like the very first.
Like the very first one. That was, I think, in like the 30s or something, possibly. I'm gonna check real quick, but it was during the whole Universal Monsters Hammer horror like era, which was, you know, like late 20s, early 30s up to like the late 50s or 60s or so. So, you know, all those movies came out. Frankenstein, 1931 for Frankenstein.
Yeah, so Nosferatu was the first.
Yeah, you know, but this was the era of like that, Frankenstein, Dracula, Phantom of the Opera, The Mummy, Creature from the Black Lagoon, like all those like super classic monsters. And those are really what started it. You know, it's crazy to think now, but yeah, the origins of horror, especially here in like the US, were largely populated by these like monster movies. So I think that's interesting because we knew right from the get-go when we started creating cinema that the things that we're really scared of are the things that we can't explain.
Yeah.
You know, like, damn, what the fuck is this like vampire? Like, why is this guy turning into a wolf?
Yeah, like
What is this like crazy reincarnated mummy, or like especially like the creature from the Black Lagoon? Like, what is that?
I swear, bro. I would just, if any of that shit ever happened, I would look up to this guy and be like, why me? Like,
Yeah.
Out of all the people that had to meet a real vampire, I had to be one of them.
Right.
Like, you can't give me a break. Like,
No, yeah, I agree.
already gave me 2 breaks.
Yeah, right.
Come on, universe.
But yeah, man, just all those movies. And, you know, now we look back at them and we're not really afraid anymore because we know about them. And obviously, given all the makeup and special effects all the way back in like the 30s and 40s, to those audiences, those movies were terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had never seen anything like that before.
Maybe not Frankenstein, but...
I mean, maybe a little bit. You know, it's still like this huge hulking like lab experiment.
I'm sure they
monster.
got dressed up for Halloween back in the day.
Oh,
They just
yeah.
face painted, you know.
But to see this stuff like on the big screen though, like they had never had that kind of experience, and these like monsters were completely foreign to them, and they had no idea.
Nosferatu, because that's the one where the...
Oh yeah,
where-
Nosferatu scared the shit out
Who's
of
that?
people.
Who played him?
Max
original-
Schreck,
Max Schreck,
Yeah.
yeah. That's why they made an interview with the... No, not interview.
Shadow
Shadow of the Vampire,
yeah,
when there
yeah.
was a... When it was a vampire pretending to be...
an actor,
an
but
actor
he was
in a
really a
movie.
vampire.
Like that's what they were explaining, like the story of like Nosferatu was. Like that movie basically shows you how Nosferatu was quote unquote filmed.
Yeah.
Because the dude was a real vampire and
Yeah.
they killed him. Like,
I don't know, man. I don't know anything about Max Schreck. Maybe he was a fucking
he
vampire.
looked terrifying as shit,
He
bro.
did.
Like, not for 1920 standards. That today looks What would you do if you saw someone that looked like that and he's just like, "Welcome to my castle"?
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Goodbye, sir."
But see, that's interesting because a lot of those monsters that kind of started off in horror and really became popular were kind of human monsters, more or less. You know, like vampires, werewolves. They all were humans at one point. Zombies came a little later, but you know, like the Phantom of the Opera was kind of like a human villain monster, and you know, a bunch of others like the Mummy. So that was interesting, and then everything kind of turned around, and it was a lot of foreign filmmakers, but especially like Japanese, with all these giant monster movies coming out. They were like, you know what, fuck it, you want to be really scared, we're gonna introduce this like 500-foot tall monster that's just rampaging through the city. What are you gonna do about that? How do you feel about that, you know? And they just released these movies like Godzilla. Granted, King Kong came out in 1933, and that was like the first big giant monster movie, so we were still doing that ahead of time. But I would argue that, you know, a giant ape is not quite as scary as something like Godzilla or Mothra or Gamera or any of those fucking crazy
eat
monsters.
all of our clothes. What the fuck?
I would be scared as fuck of that thing. Or like the giant ant creatures in them with their giant ass pincers, they just rip people apart and shit. I mean, so we really took it in a whole other direction with these like giant monster movies, and they made it really scary. And I think that they completely redefined the humanity versus inhumanity, that unknown just thing that we know absolutely nothing about, and they just took it to a whole other level. And then from them stemmed all the like drive-in kind of style monster movies, stemmed all the creature features that we see today, like A Quiet Place is going to be coming out.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I think all those kind of movies like Feast, you know, Troll Hunter and all them are definitely inspired by these like all the old Universal Monsters stuff,
definitely.
all the Japanese like giant, you know, monster movies and stuff like that. So yeah, man, I really love monster movies. There's so much we can discuss about them, honestly, but I think that is definitely one of the biggest themes. Honestly, the only thing that I don't like about them sometimes is that obviously we're supposed to be rooting for the human side of things, but the characters are always like fairly one-dimensional. Like there isn't really any depth to them, and it's kind of changing now when we see movies like The Babadook and Pyewacket and stuff like that. Like these characters obviously have personalities, and they're like important in the context of the story. But a lot of like older monster films, that wasn't really the case that much.
Yeah,
you know?
it was just like we're at an amusement park, and oh my god, what is that? It was just a monster. Like, it was just really simple, man.
Yeah.
But it worked because, like, I don't know, these were iconic. I think monster movies brought most of the eyes on horror. Like, that's what kind of...
Yeah, definitely.
That was definitely, like, what, like, because there was the Cabinet of Dr. Calgary in, like, what, 1920?
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, horror wasn't a big thing back then. No one else was doing it. And then you had Nosferatu, and then came these monster movies, Godzilla, King Kong, and then that brought all the eyes to, like, the suspense, thriller, horror, like...
Yeah, everything.
Like, we got to thank monster movies. And then, like...
Yeah, for real.
A good slasher didn't even come out until, like, well, you know, The Cabinet was good. I mean,
I wouldn't call that a slasher. Yeah, really, it was like Psycho and all those
Psycho,
movies,
yeah.
like late 50s, early 60s, that, you know, really kind of defined the slasher genre as we know it today.
Because at first, like, you know, all these monster movies, like, it was just like human versus monster. Okay,
Yeah.
you know, that's our struggle. And then, like, but when you get slashers, that's like, oh, human is the monster. Like,
yeah.
that was the...
That
was the big switch in, like, focus. Like, hey, let's take... It was like, hey, guys.
Yeah.
I know you're scared of monsters, but, you know who the real monsters are, right?
Yeah, people.
Us, motherfucker?
Yeah, that's
Not
why...
like us, too. Like,
No,
us
I know,
isn't,
I
like, all of our viewers. You're all
You
monsters.
should be scared of us, no. But, I agree.
You should.
Yes. That's why I really like vampire and werewolf movies and stuff like that, too, because then we get to examine the monster from a more human perspective, because we know that they have some kind of emotion underneath that. They have some kind of personality, so it's difficult for us to accept that there's supposed to be something, like, truly terrifying. But yeah, there's just, like, two different parts of the same wheel. You know, you've got, like, these seemingly unintelligent, you know, not on the same level as humans, at least, just totally baffling, like, giant monsters and these, like, creatures, like in The Descent, those fucking monsters and stuff like that we just can't explain, versus, you know, these things like mummies and vampires and werewolves. So I think they all kind of fall under the same umbrella, but they're so different, you know?
Yeah.
Because we can relate to one more than the other. So yeah, it's interesting. But nowadays, people are still releasing monster movies, not quite
There have been
as much,
but there have been a few really good ones as of recent. I think Barnabas agrees with me. The Blair Witch Project was an excellent... It's not a remake, but it's a...
Well, I think that the remake kind of falls more into the monster kind of realm, sort of, you know.
That's why I really liked it. I liked Blair Witch. The Monster Project, remember I told you to watch
Monster
that?
Project was great.
Alright, guys, Monster Project, basically these people are trying to find real monsters. So they come across a demon, they come across a shapeshifter, and what else was there? A vampire, right?
Yeah. Vampire shapeshifter.
And now they're at this abandoned building, and then shit hits the fan. See, that's what we need, man. If you're gonna do a mockumentary, if it's gonna be about monsters, like, don't just start remaking King Kong and Godzilla. And last thing I want is The Relic to be remade. If they remake The Relic, I'm gonna stand outside of
No, The
fucking
Relic.
studios with picket fences.
I love The Relic, but yeah, man, there's just a lot like that are excellent. Other mockumentary, I mean, we talked about Troll Hunter. Troll Hunter was incredible. Another, you know, giant monster movie, but that was done as a mockumentary, which I think is really interesting.
That was effective.
Which
that
was
effective.
I think that was super effective.
That probably brought in so many
Such a good
eyes,
idea.
like,
Yeah.
and so many conspiracy
So many people
theories
talked
and shit
about
too.
it. Oh yeah.
You know, like, well, what if this was the giants on the earth, Nephilim, like all that crazy shit, you know?
No, that movie was incredible. I love The Monster Project. I love Blair Witch. And then, you know, there's so many other iconic monster movies that explore so many different messages and themes. Alien, probably one of the biggest ones. Jaws.
I think The Thing was the first monster movie I saw when
Yeah?
I was like 5 and it was Halloween.
I love The Thing.
And it was the same night I watched my first Jason movie. The first Jason movie I watched was Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah.
And then, like, soon after I saw The Relic, and I saw first I saw The Thing, then I saw, like, The Relic, and then all that. I mean, I think Jason's one of those you could classify him as a monster too. So
later on.
monster slasher.
Kind of. Yeah.
After part 5.
Yeah, after part 5, I would say.
But it's
More
crazy,
so.
like the wide spectrum of, like, different monster movies, and, like, all of their attributions put together, like, helped make like this just iconic group. Just monster movies are iconic, like, just as much as slashers.
Yeah.
So I know we talk about
Maybe
slashers
even
a
more
lot.
so, yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
maybe even more so. They're the pioneers of horror.
Yeah.
I would say monster movies are the pioneers of horror.
Yeah, I think so.
Like there would be no. I don't think there would be horror movies without them.
Probably not. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Because if it was just people like killing other people, and it would just be drama. That's what we have now with drama. It would just they would be like thrillers. We wouldn't have any like real monster movies. So yeah, I really appreciate them for exactly that reason. I mean, someone might have had a good idea and kind of started it off, but monster movies are really what did it, and it makes a lot of sense. And I love them because there's just so much diversity.
I know this is random. Give me your top 5 favorite monsters. Not top 5 you think did best for the horror culture. Your favorite 5.
Like movies?
Monsters.
Monsters?
5 favorite
Ooh.
monsters. Because I wrote mine down.
Okay, I feel you. All right, let me see. The Xenomorph.
Yeah, I got that's on my list.
Oh, jeez.
Morty, relax.
Definitely Xenomorph. I would say overall werewolf.
Werewolf, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see what else. The creature from The Host.
I thought you were gonna say the creature from the Black Lagoon.
No, I don't think so. The monster from The Host. I love that thing. Let's see. So that's 3 so far. Ooh, what else? I probably can list this off super quick, but now I'm on the spot.
It's okay. Think it through and we can discuss too.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, I don't mind. I want to say Godzilla. I think I'm gonna say Godzilla, and probably either Pumpkinhead or the Unnameable.
yes. You covered basically almost everything on my list. So, my top 5 favorite monsters, and this is not in any particular order.
Yeah, no,
I can't pick a favorite monster. Okay, that's why I'm a horror fan. I love this shit. I don't play favorites. We're not fucking 12. I don't even have a favorite color. You know, my favorite color is gray. That's how neutral I am. So these are my top 5, not in any order. Just top 5 my favorite, not top 5.
Yeah.
I'm saying objectively best. I'm just saying that were
you're subjectively your
my
favorite.
subjectively. These are my childhood nightmares.
Yeah.
This is my childhood nightmares consisted of Pumpkinhead, the Unnameable, the Monster from the Relic, Predator,
Oh yeah.
and Xenomorph.
Yeah, that's a good list.
If I'm counting another thing that terrified me when I was a kid, the from American Werewolf in London. I didn't trust nobody after all. I was like, yo.
Oh yeah.
I was in first grade. I was like, yo, ma, how do I know if my classmate is a werewolf? What if there is what if there is a full moon while I am at school, huh?
Yeah.
What if there is a full moon while I'm at school and we all get eaten by this?
That's not a bad. It's not a bad movie idea there.
Right? People come to serve night detention.
Right.
And one of the kids is a werewolf. Don't take our idea.
Yeah, we copyrighted that officially starting right now.
Starting right now. I just paid $3 through PayPal.
Yeah, I think those are.
Contest a registered trademark.
I think those are my top 5 probably. Yeah, man. I love what monster movies have done for the genre. Honestly, whenever I'm flipping through horror movies to watch, on Netflix or whatever, I'll almost always pick some kind of a monster movie over anything else. Because for one thing, I feel like monster movies, out of all horror
They haven't really lost their
subgenres,
touch.
they haven't, and I think that they offer just the most creativity.
Unless you're talking about Twilight. 'Cause
No.
those are still vampires.
No, fuck Twilight.
Yeah, fuck Twilight. You
That's
see
not-
what
it doesn't
you see
count.
what happened when you take
That's a teen. That's a teen.
You
bop
see what
movie.
happens when you take this something that's supposed to be a part of one genre and you make it into another.
Yeah, no, that's a teen bop movie for sure.
Imagine if we took serial killers and made romance movies and normalized being serial killers. No, those are bad things. Not all vampires are bad. It's nowadays.
No, they're supposed to be.
Nowadays, movies seem like, hey, things aren't as bad as you think, and they are. They're worse.
They are.
All right, nihilists. Remember that.
But that's the thing, that they just offer so many avenues because they are intrinsically about the fear of the unknown, the fear of the unexplainable, and that's the direction you got to go in when you're making monster movies.
Because you did not you did not explain. You did not anticipate you walking outside and there's a giant lizard monster.
No, definitely not. So I just think
You're not
pretty
just-
much whatever you think of or whatever you believe personally to be scary, if you just envision something in your brain, you can make a monster movie out of that.
Yeah.
Because nobody's gonna say it's right or wrong. If it's crazy and unexplainable and terrifying, then you've got a good monster movie.
And
on
all
your
these
hands.
movies show you really can't expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
Even telling someone that is such like a conjure, expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready for anything. Hey, look, it's a giant 1,800-foot goat monster. All right, bro, I gotta go home and recoup. I wasn't ready for that. No, you can't go home and recoup. It's about to eat you. You can't expect the unexpected. That's the point of these movies. Whatever you think you're ready for, you're fucking not. You are not.
That is how pretty much all of them start. It's just people having an average day. They don't know what to expect. That's what happened in The Host.
You gotta play on the monster's sympathies and then kill it while it trusts you.
Yeah. I talk about this movie all the time, The Host. And that's basically how it starts. Like, it's a South Korean film, and these people are just. There is an explanation sort of offered, as to like what the monster kind of is, like its origin and stuff. But it opens up just like a regular day, in South Korea, and there's just people like along this canal, and they're just hanging out, walking around, being touristy, ordering food and shit. And then this like aquatic, four-legged like monster, it's like 25 feet tall or something, or maybe even more than that. It's like humongous. It's just jumping out of the water. It's got like this crazy long tail and like this weird like face. It just jumps out of the water in broad daylight, and it just starts ripping people apart, and everybody's just running away and shit. And this thing is just like, it's fast as fuck. Like, it's just crashing into cars and like eating people and stuff.
I would say monster movies for me as a child were like the root of my nightmares.
Yeah.
Because what did you think was in? What did you think was in your closet? What did you think was gonna pull your leg while you were coming out the bed?
Bro,
why were you tucking in your feet in your covers? What were you scared was gonna get you?
This one time I had a dream that
Larry,
this, like,
your neighbor? No, it's a fucking monster. It's just our primitive like instincts. Like, we're scared of creatures.
One of my oldest nightmares is of a vampire. I'm in the library, and this vampire is trying to get me to eat a bowl of worms. And I had another dream. I swear to God that was really a dream I had, and it terrified me. I still remember it to this day, all pretty vividly. Another dream I had that terrified me was my foot was hanging off the bed.
Oh yeah.
And I look over, like I feel something, and I look over, and there's just this like alien popping out from beneath my bed, holding my leg, and it's trying to pull me under. I woke up sweating. I was like, what the fuck?
I had besides that Pumpkinhead dream I mentioned earlier, where I had a dream, I'm in the basement and then he just finds me, and then I wake up. I had that dream for like so long. Like, it felt like forever. Like, it sucked so bad. And then I had this one dream where I was just like laying in bed, and like someone had their arm wrapped around me, and I look, and it's just this pale monster with like no pupils, and it was just had his arm around me, and it was just like, and that's how it breathed. I still remember that sound to this day. Like,
yeah, man.
Bro, monster movies fucked us up.
I had the same thing. I don't know if you could. I would consider this a monster, but maybe not quite as much. But the old lady from The Shining, when I saw that when I was a kid, that scared the shit out of me too. Yeah. So that's the thing, like slashers and all these kinds of other movies, like horror movies, they'll probably scare you, or they'll get at you, deep, like make you really emotional and shit. But most likely the nightmares that you're going to have are about stuff like the chick from The Exorcist, Godzilla, werewolves, aliens, like all this kind of stuff, right? Bro. Because you don't know anything about it. It's so inhuman. It just goes against everything that you were ever like made to believe. Everything that you were told was true, and like factual, Hell yeah!
Imagine going into where the Netherlands.
I was like, oh, this is the nice cave. Holy fuck! What is that?
Is that a fucking rock monster? Like, no one's ready.
I wouldn't
for that.
know what to do.
You can't be ready.
No.
Oh, we didn't talk about another type of monster, bro. Clowns.
Oh yeah. Actually, when you were asking me my top 5, I was kind of ready to say Pennywise. It might be in there.
Would you classify clowns as monsters?
These kinds, I would, yeah. Pennywise wasn't even a clown, though. He just took the form of a clown. But he was like this trans-dimensional fucking cosmic just spider monster,
Yeah.
And so stuff like that, absolutely. And stuff like the movie that we're going to talk about for the chopping block. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Clown. That's what the movie is called.
Clown. You can watch it on Netflix.
That's what it's about. It's trending right now on Netflix, which is why
It was
I
trending
picked
a
it.
year and a half ago too. I was watching. I watched it a few years ago.
That's why it's so good. It's still trending after all
Yeah.
this time. We both are big fans of the movie Clown.
Big time.
Released in 2014.
It has rewatch value.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Like I can watch it tonight and be like, yo, I just watched it 6 months ago, but like, I don't know, something about clowns. Like I remember I had this lecherous clown mask. Remember that?
Yeah.
Felipe?
Yeah.
And it just made you look so menacing. I just don't know what it is about clowns. That seems like war paint. That's not make you laugh paint. You know, like it's
Yeah. See, that's another thing too. A lot of people are scared of clowns, and clowns are one of the most human kind of monsters that there are. I wonder if it's just because we as a species have become so accustomed to everything being shit and like scary that we look at this character that's supposed to just be happy
supposed to
and
just
like
make us
smiling all the time,
laugh, like, look
and we're
at
like,
that.
what are you? You know, how dare you be happy?
I think it's about us being like indifferent toward like people that are kind of different. That's what the clown thing is from.
Yeah.
And the clown represents their like inner rage and what they want to do to us, you know?
Yeah. But the clown in this movie is so far beyond all that because it's actually a monster. It's another creature that takes the form of a clown.
This is like my top 2 favorite clowns now. Like, I wouldn't put Pennywise up there because, you know, he wasn't a clown per se.
Yeah.
And he wasn't too scary, but the movie was great.
Yeah.
Like, it was classic, you know? So, like,
Yeah.
we can't even talk about that. But Terrifier.
Oh,
I just watched that recently.
I'm about to.
Holy shit, so much practical, but a lot of it gore. Like,
Yeah.
a lot. And it seems so 90s until the cinematography seems like really, really old. Like 20 years ago old, but you see them using cell phones and they got a $20 bill from like, you know, it has like the stamps on them and shit, you know, like one of the newer ones. Like,
Right.
I don't know, but Clown, man, that scared the shit out of me. So there's this dad. He puts on this clown costume or whatever, right? And then he can't take it off. And slowly but surely, it takes him over and he starts wanting to eat children.
Yeah.
And by the worst scene is when he's at the play place.
Oh,
Thank God I was 10 years old when I used to go to the play place. And how old was I? And when did this come out? 08?
2014, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank God I'm old as shit. Because if I saw this movie, because there's this place, the kids were in like a McDonald's play place, and the clown just starts eating these kids. Like, you see kids dying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that's why this movie, you know, we're talking about it, you know,
Right.
or why it's good or bad. But
I think it was okay with children.
it's cool if they get killed in movies. In movies, all right?
Oh, man.
Movies. We watch movies to escape reality. Yeah. Those little shits think they're untouchable in all these 80s movies. Jason never killed no kids. Michael didn't get to kill, Jamie till she was like 16.
The clown doesn't give a fuck.
Clown eats every child. Yeah. I remember that one part. This lady was gonna give up this one girl to the clown so that her son would be safe. That was so great, man.
Yeah.
Like, and the way this thing looked too was just fucking terrifying.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Especially by the end of it when he consumes some kids and you get to see his true form. Like,
that's one of the things I love. It's that human versus monster, but human as a monster.
Yeah.
He begins as a human. And he's a normal guy.
Imagine you just put on a clown costume one day and you just start eating kids.
He slowly transforms. He slowly loses his humanity. But he's still a person, though, kind of. You know, like, we still feel sympathetic for him because we're like, damn, you know, I hope that he can get that fucking clown suit off and, like, go back to not eating children and, like,
you know he can.
Go back to his own family. Yeah, but you feel that kind of sympathy toward him, like, you're almost kind of rooting for the monster because you know that deep, deep, deep down it's not really a monster, you know? And I think that's how we feel about, like, a lot of
this
these movies.
movie, it was a monster, okay?
Yeah, this movie was a monster.
Let's just say that. There's no metaphors in this movie like Babadook. This is...
Yeah.
We got to talk about that movie.
Oh, yeah, Babadook, yeah. That's, you know...
Like, it needs to get its own episode, I would say, maybe.
Possibly.
I think so.
I know
there's
a lot of people,
shit we can talk.
I know a lot of people have
not badly about it,
different opinions about the Babadook, and it's a very controversial film in, like, the horror community. We'll definitely talk about it. I mean, that's definitely a monster film, I feel like, for the most part.
Yeah, because it's not paranormal. So.
Yeah, I would say it's more
Even if
like
it was, it's still
supernatural, but it still does have like a monster in it, even though it's kind of a metaphor.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. You know, back in the old days, we would quite, in fact, see movies like Clown more often. Where
Maybe
it's
not
just,
like Babadook, where it's like metaphorical.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we wouldn't see movies like that back in the old days because, you know, we were trying to push the boundaries and like really get people scared. So pretty much what's scarier than a metaphorical like monster thing, a real one? So we never really went into like the psychological aspects of monsters back in like the 30s, 40s, 50s when
I like
they were
the
all the
real
rage.
monsters better. Real monsters are better than metaphorical monsters.
I think done in the right way,
Enough
though.
with the metaphors, though.
I think
That's
done in
what
the
I
right way, the psychological kind of monsters and stuff like that. Like It Comes at Night, which doesn't really feature a monster. I wouldn't call it a monster movie, but you know, stuff like that, and like the Babadook, and even It Follows to an extent, stuff like that, like that's coming out now.
About they look like people.
Yeah, there's definitely there are like definitely metaphors and messages in those films, and it's happening now with this like newer age of horror where you know, we feel like we've almost moved past all the simplistic typical kind of stuff, and we want to start discussing more like you know, hidden meanings, deeper meanings, psychological issues and things like that. Even with something like Get Out, you know, exploring race but using horror elements to do so.
Yeah.
So that's what movies like The Babadook are kind of about, and a lot of people don't like them. So there's some mixed feelings about that. I would say if you're gonna you know, try and show some kind of a monster, definitely make it kind of real, because that's gonna be the scariest part.
Yeah. Like not real to the point where like a goat who's evil, you know what I'm saying? But like to the extent of it being like really similar to a human, like the same, like a clown, you know? Because a clown's not, at least the monster clown in this movie, Clown, it's not a human anymore, but it was one. I guess that's the thing. Like it turned into a monster because of like how people viewed it. So
yeah, I agree. I love those kind of monster movies, and clowns are no different, especially when they're clowns like in Clown, and it, you know, like Pennywise and the one in Terrifier and stuff like that. Like when people say they're scared of clowns, those are exactly the kinds that they're talking about, you know.
now some people are just scared of those happy clowns.
Yeah, but I feel like there's some kind of other issue,
Yeah, I
you
think
know,
so,
happening
yeah.
with that. So I don't know, but we definitely recommend.
Yeah, it's
Clown.
It's not chopped.
It is not chopped. Go watch this movie. It's on Netflix right now, so you shouldn't not have Netflix.
Yeah. You
So if
should've.
you're looking for a good
It's
like
like 2018. Do you still have a?
yeah,
Do you have a trapper keeper? You got a beeper, sir or madam?
a
Huh?
pocket protector, like what?
Hey, pocket protectors are all the rage now.
Oh, okay.
Being
I guess.
nerdy is about to be back in style.
People are trying to bring like fanny packs and shit back.
Well, anyways, clowns.
That's on our fashion podcast.
Yeah, let's see you guys like next week, okay?
But no, definitely check out Clown. And we hope that, you know, some of what we've been talking about monster movies here has related to you, or that you understand kind of, you're going to have a deeper understanding of monster movies in general. They're so important to the horror community and to horror cinema. And people are still making them. I'm happy they're still making them. I wish that people would make more giant monster movies. We see them, you know, sparingly here and there, like Pacific Rim, Colossal, Cloverfield. I need more stuff like that. I just watched Shin Godzilla, which is basically a reboot of the original Godzilla, and it was done in Japan. And I loved that movie like a lot. And that was cool too, because obviously you have Godzilla and you can see Godzilla, and it's just going on this rampage. And the only perspective that you see it from really is as this huge hulking monster with seemingly no purpose other than just to like kill people. But a lot of the movie actually revolves around what the humans are doing to fight it, and it's all like military and like government shit. Like that's interesting.
Speaking of monster movies, Rampage, based on the video game.
Yeah.
The video game was kind of an adaptation of like all the movie monsters, basically. I mean, you had
Yeah.
the giant dinosaur, you had the... Pretty sure there was a gorilla. I remember playing that game. You just crash buildings and eat food. Whoever can eat the most food wins. Like,
I'm just concerned because, I mean, it's got The Rock in it. And, don't get me wrong, I love The Rock. But it just seems like such a obvious cash grab, just big blockbuster summer movie. And, those are totally fine. I get it. It's going to make a lot of money because it's coming out in the summer. It's a blockbuster movie. It's getting all this marketing, all this attention and stuff. I don't know if it's going to be that good, but, for all our sakes, I hope it's at least good because it's another giant monster movie coming out. So, I don't know. I'm kind of excited about it, but I am a little skeptical.
I also am a bit skeptical. Primarily because The Rock's in it. It's going to be kind of like over-the-top, dramatic, serious with kind of a lot of funny parts. It's just... Rock, retire.
You have enough money, man. I love you, but you gotta stop acting these like dumb, just mindless blockbuster movies.
Wasn't he in Jumanji?
Yeah, Jumanji. I didn't even care to watch that movie at all. So, Monsters, Clown, go check it out. Again, we hope this was an exciting episode for you guys. I loved talking about all of this stuff.
Yeah, man. I'm about to watch a monster movie as soon as it's over.
We have to. I'm pumped for one.
Relic.
Yeah, I think we're going to watch the Relic. So that's another one. That's a great one. Interesting concept. Really cool monster. Just a lot of action. That's what we need in monster movies,
Yeah, we do need a lot more action.
Yeah, if you have those like fundamental elements, you're going to have a good monster movie. And if you think of something creative enough and like unexplainable enough and just crazy, then you're going to have a scary monster too.
It's rare nowadays, though.
It is, yeah.
Unless it's a foreign film. Like, those motherfuckers
exactly.
can pull out
They
anything.
They can.
Anything they want.
Yeah, we gotta go back to that. But, all of those original themes and stuff, people are starting to experiment with them and explore them. And, over the last 10, 20 years, we've had great monster movies that have come out, great creature features, and a lot of stuff that's been on the more psychological end of things. And, I think that's fine. But I just love seeing, like, these classic monster films.
King Kong was great. Dracula Untold. I don't care what anyone says. That was a great fucking movie. I don't care if it got, 13% on Rotten Tomatoes? Fuck you. Like,
yeah. I will say, though, that, Dracula Untold, while I also enjoyed it, kind of was a monster movie, more of, like, an action flick, in my opinion, though. It was definitely a blockbuster movie, Hollywood
still,
movie.
Like, they're keeping monsters, like, cool. They're not,
They're
not making them be pussies and, like,
still,
sprinkle in the fucking
It's still
sunlight.
labeled as Dracula, so people will still, like, go out and look up other Dracula stuff. So I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, man, I think that's pretty much it for this episode.
Yes.
We hope that you guys enjoyed it. Just one quick thing. We did ask for all your questions and feedback from the last episode. Unfortunately, we didn't get any questions, but again, if you guys just kind of have anything that you want to know about us or any type of feedback about the podcast, about like our favorite movies, what we think about this or that, please don't hesitate to leave us a comment or send us a message or something, and we'll definitely get back to you in one of our episodes. But with that, I think that is it for episode number 6 of Grave Discussions. We'll see you next week. I am Barnabas.
And I am Samael.
And we shall see you in episode number 7 of
Grave Discussions.
This has been an SRD production.